Welcome to Behind the Model, a show diving into the virtual world and exploring its stories with the VTubers who lead the way. As you'll come to find out across this episode, there's not much Vexoria the Sun Eater hasn't done in the VTubing world. She's equal parts lewd and wholesome, simultaneously destigmatizing the adult entertainment space and pushing forward positive charity work. Family-orientated at heart, and there is a lot of heart there, she is one of the shining beacons of indie VTubing, and that's what we're here to discover today. Vex, welcome to Behind the Model.
Oh, thank you so much, Ducky. That was very sweet. I really like that introduction. I appreciate you asking me to be here.
No, it's a joy to actually speak to you in person. So the funny story is for the uninitiated, I have interviewed Vex a couple of times before on both charity work and other things. And I think this is actually the first time we've actually spoken in an interview and not actually just gone over Discord DMs.
Yeah, I know.
So, you know, it's nice to have you wiggling here on my screen with me. And I'm excited to tell your whole story and not just the little parts that I've managed to pick out over time.
No, I appreciate that. When you asked me to do this originally, I was very flattered because there's a lot of great, fantastic VTubers out there. So I just want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you.
Oh, okay. You're flattering me too much already. It's only a minute.
No, too bad. You're gonna get You asked me to be here.
Alrighty, but let's just jump into the questions, why don't we? I think we can start there.
Just jump right in.
Yes. Yep. Oh no. Alrighty, everyone, prepare for 30 minutes of this. Let's wind it all the way back. And the first question I do like asking in all of my interviews and all of these kinds of things is kind of the inspiration that didn't just get you into VTubing, but broader content creation. Especially, and in your case, that's especially interesting because not to say it meanly, you are quite a bit older than the traditional VTuber.
Listen. No, to be honest with you, I thought your first question was going to be, does Zolan know you're here?
I mean, does he? He should.
Listen, he does, okay? But, yeah, I mean, for me, like, when I started, like, doing the whole content creation thing, it was kind of on a whim because it was during COVID, and me and Zolan didn't have anywhere to go for our anniversary. And we were just like, hey, do you want to stream or like try streaming for fun? And then we both started streaming together as like flesh tubers. And it was really fun. And I really enjoyed it. But I also felt like kind of self-conscious about it because like, I don't know, you got people watching you, they're gonna say stuff about like what you look like, or for me, because I could do a lot of voices, like, oh, they're gonna make fun of the faces that I make when I do weird voices. So I liked streaming, but I talked to Zolan and I was like, I don't know if I want to be like a flesh streamer, like I don't know if I want to show myself. But at the time, like VTubing was really like, it was really hard to get into because there wasn't a lot. Like you had to have money, you had to have like, you had to know the tech, and I didn't know the tech or anything like that. So we just kind of watched like the first wave of VTubers come in, and we were just trying to research and figure out, could I do this? And I was like, I think I could do this. And Zolan's like, I think you could do that too. I think it would be a lot of fun. And it was like, I kind of went into it with the idea of I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna have fun. And you know, if I eventually make back the cost of my model, that's a win for me. I'll have fun with it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And, you know, let me play video games and maybe meet some really cool people. And it has, definitely.
You being self-conscious is not something that I pegged you up for to start this off.
Okay, I was... you never know what people are going to say about you on the internet, right?
Yeah, true.
Like, it's like, okay, oh, they're going to nitpick, you know, the fact that when I do weird voices, like, my face contorts in a weird way when I do that voice. Or like, oh, well, she has massive tits in real life. She's a big old titty streamer. That's all she is. Like, you know, you can hear it from every angle, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So I was very like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. And then, you know, the whole idea of, you know, I can just stream wearing whatever I want to wear. I don't have to worry about getting all dressed up for stream.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? VTubing's the way to go, I think, because I want to not wear pants sometimes.
I mean, totally fair. Like,
I think it's fair.
yeah, absolutely. You know, you don't want to have to put on the full face of makeup and glam up just to be thrusted in front of a camera for 4 hours straight. It's very nice to just be nice
4
and
hours
cozy.
is generous now for me. but I mean, yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I don't want to have to spend like an hour of prep time to make myself look a certain way, or you know, I have to pick out the perfect outfit, otherwise people will be upset. Like, no,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. I'm interested in the point that you said about, you know, coming into it and just wanting to make your money back. That's a very common sentiment that I hear. And I think it comes from a place of, you know, if you do that, then it's like a fun little hobby, right? And it's like, you know, there's no loss and no loss there. It's very hard for a lot of people to do that though, especially when they're younger and they don't have access to that kind of money, or they haven't had the time to get into the savings. Is that one of the benefits you think you had coming into the scene a little bit older than most?
I think it was, because VTubing's not cheap.
Mm.
And I'll always tell people, like, get into PNG tubing before get into VTubing, because it's a heck of a lot cheaper than having to afford a model and rigging and all that stuff like that. For me, I got very lucky and found a model artist and rigger that at the time was relatively affordable for me. And we just kind of, you know, we were like, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just shoot from the hip and buy it. But like, that kind of money is sometimes not easy to get. So I'll always tell people, start with PNG tubing, because you can see if you even like streaming. Because you would never want to invest in something and then not like it and be like, oh shit, now I have to stick with it because I've spent this money on it. So I think PNG tubing is the easiest way into streaming and VTubing if you don't want to show yourself.
Was that something that you were worried about when starting out the streaming? And like, you know, it's the behind the sky of the idea of, hey, we can celebrate our anniversary like this, but then doing that and then actually turning it into what is now not just your full-time career, but Zolon, your husband's career as well. There's quite a few steps in the process though.
Hold on a second. Can you repeat that question? I just had a chemo moment.
That's all good. I was like, it's one thing to be like, you know, getting into VTubing and like, you know, I'm just going to do this fun little stream, like with my, you know, my body, for an anniversary. But then it's a very giant leap to then go, I'm going to make a full-time career out of this, and I'm going to rope in my husband, who's going to be my manager. What kind of steps in the interim there? Where did you kind of have the spark of it being like, this is actually something that I can pursue full-time and I will actually enjoy doing that?
So the funny thing is, I was getting my honors degree in psychology at the time I started VTubing. So I was at university full-time, and I was like, this would just be a fun little hobby to do on the side to take my mind off stuff. And then a couple months into it, things started to really steamroll and kind of blow up for me. And I was kind of looking at Zolon, and I was just like, so I'm going to finish my degree, but this is looking like I could potentially do this full time. How would you feel about that? And he was just like, you know what? I just want you to be happy. At the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. And then we had those, you know, private discussions and like, okay, you know, I want to do this full time. You know, what is Vexoria? What is the channel? What is the brand? You know what I mean? Like, going through all those conversations. And I always kind of wanted it to be, yeah, I'm Vexoria the Sun Eater. I'm a villainess that'll probably eat you. And I'm a giant snake woman on the internet. But also, you know, I have my honors degree in psychology. I'm also a mom. I'm also, you know, I've always been a very, I guess, sexually, you know, open and charged person. It's like, I want to be able to be that way too. And I want people to feel safe and comfortable in my community too. So it was a whole lot of things that kind of made the stew of Vexoria the Sun Eater, and having those conversations with Zolan and discussing what was appropriate for us and what did we want to do. And at the time he was working a full-time job too, and and then it just became like there was a lot to do. It was me and him doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, wow, there's a lot to do here. Could we potentially do this as like these are our careers? And we just kind of in January, like this past January, he bit the bullet and was like, yeah, let's go full time. I'm all in, you're all in, let's ride this for as long as we can ride this and have fun with it, and make a lot of memories, help a lot of people, and just have fun.
Yeah. You mentioned in there that you are a mom, and it is not just, it's a full family consideration that you have to take on board, right? Like you have to provide the stable base for everyone there, right?
Oh yeah. And like I usually have a rule, like unless it's something really, really big, I don't collab on the weekends. I don't stream on the weekends because that's my time to spend with them. And like I stream like 3 or 4 times a week now, and I always section off like we're gonna have dinner together every night. Like I'm never gonna stream over dinner unless it's like a huge event or something like that that's like really special, like a charity event or something, like, you know what I mean? Something that that's like 12 hours long or something. But like I'll always make time for them because they're always gonna come first.
Yeah.
And that's always been important to me.
Yeah.
To let them know that, like, even though this is my job, I will pause my job to take care of you and to go do fun things and to let you know that you come first to me all the time.
What's it like juggling all those responsibilities?
I wear many hats, and it's a lot. It's a lot of juggling, but it keeps you busy. It does. And it's a lot of like we have a Trello board of like everything that I'm doing, and I can be like, okay, well, I got to do this at this time. And then now that Zolan's managing multiple people, so we have to kind of sit down and be like, well, when are your meetings? Okay, well, I've streamed this time to this time, like you have meetings this day to this day. Oh, but our daughter's got a music recital this day at this evening, so nobody's doing anything.
Yep.
So it's a lot of like figuring out, writing dates down so nobody forgets anything. It's like the mom whiteboard of like, power. It's like it's a lot, but at the same time, it keeps me busy. It makes me happy to do it. Like I don't feel overwhelmed by it. Like, there's obviously a lot to do, but I don't feel stressed. It's fun to be able to VTube, and I like doing it. And I also, do my best to make time for family stuff, too, and make time for Zolan, too, because a lot of people, you say, oh, you guys work together so much, but, like, working together and then, like, being a romantic partner are 2 different things.
You can look. How much does Zolan irritate you?
What a loaded question. No, like, do you want the honest answer?
Absolutely.
Listen, okay. Our house has flooded twice this year.
Yep.
The second time it's flooded, we had to move into his parents' house, which we're still here right now. Hopefully we'll be back into our house by next week or the week after, because there's only a few things that need to be done. Me and Zolan, for the majority of this VTubing thing, have had separate offices. However, because we've had to move in with his parents, we have had to share an office space in the basement. So his computer is behind mine, and let me tell you, I can't wait to get back home because I will be streaming and I'll be saying something and he'll just pipe in with something. I'll be like, oh my, you motherfucker. You just have to add your 2 cents, don't you? But like our marriage has always been one of laughter and one of being married to your best friend.
Yeah.
So you always want to do everything together. You tease the ever loving shit out of each other, but it's fun, and I couldn't do this with anybody else because it's so fun and so exciting, and you never quite know what the day is gonna bring. So it's like living with like your best friend, but also someone that you would like do anything for because you absolutely couldn't imagine your life without them. So it's like living with a gremlin that you're in love with. It's kind of weird, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. How do you juggle the privacy aspects of it as well? Because you do speak a little bit about your kids on stream, but you do keep cards close to your chest.
Oh yeah.
How do you manage that?
So for me, like when I'm doing an adult stream, my kids are never in the house. I make sure that they are never in the house. They're always being babysat by someone else outside of the house.
Yep.
Even if I have to do like not safe for work voice acting, they are not in the house. They are at school. I plan my days around when they're not going to be there.
Yep.
So, and if I'm doing like a regular stream on Twitch or something like that, a lot of my walls are soundproof. Like we have the soundproof foam and everything like that. And my 13-year-old, guess what? Doesn't want to be around their parents. So she's off doing her own thing in her own room. Doesn't care. My son is usually being babysat by Zolan at the time too.
Yep.
So like he's keeping an eye on him and everything like that. So I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
So it's scheduled when I do my adult stuff and whatnot. Like that's heavily scheduled.
Yep.
So you protect them so they're not exposed to anything that they shouldn't be exposed to.
Yeah. And it's also like a not sharing their lives broadly on the internet broadcasted and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I'm not. Listen, I'll tell funny stories about them on stream, and I'll never use their names or anything like that, or anything that would be doxing of them or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't do anything like that, and I'm careful too about what stories I tell about my eldest because I don't want to embarrass her or anything like that. And if I'll ask her if something fun happens, I'm like, do you mind if I tell that story on stream? And she'll be like, no, go ahead. Like it's asking for her consent too because it's her life in a way too, right?
Yeah, it's a full family affair.
Yeah, and I'll never tweet about them either.
Yeah.
Because like I don't feel like that's appropriate to do that. So I don't want to put that out there. Yeah. I'll tweet about Zolan though and the stupid shit he says because he's on the.
It's a lot of Twitter content.
It is.
I want to break down to the two streams of content that people would know you for. And I think the first one, because we've touched on it a little bit, is definitely more of the adult content side of things and the lewd tubing. And the big debate that comes around every time this is brought up is kind of how lewd tubers are perceived and seen in the VTubing space and the kinds of expectations and assumptions that come with that tag. How have you seen that develop in your time in VTubing?
Every 6 months or so, there's the whole debate whether or not say so versus lewd. That always comes up on Twitter, right? There's always that kind of discussion about, who has it worse, right? I think, there's a lot of discussion around that, and I usually don't get into it because if you want to be say so, be say so. If you want to be lewd, right? Whatever makes you happy. But, like at least in my personal experience as a lewd tuber, and this is my experience, and I can't speak for anybody else.
Yeah.
I've found that a lot of people shit on you a lot, or they have expectations of you, and they expect you to be a certain way, or they expect you to well, you're a lewd tuber, therefore I can be lewd with you.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel like it, and I'm like, well, no, that's not exactly how that works.
Yep.
Right. It's not just like if I label myself a LewdTuber, it doesn't mean that you can send me your pee pics, whenever you goddamn well feel like it. Like it's not like that.
I don't even want to think about your Twitter DMs sometimes.
Listen, I have my Twitter DMs closed because when I first started, it was pretty like, hey baby, and I was like, please no.
Please.
Like I have no idea. I have no idea who you are.
And
like,
I'm married.
For me, well, it's not even the fact that like, okay, me and Zolan are pretty open about the fact I can flirt with whoever and like it's fine, right? And we've had that discussion. We've had the discussion multiple times.
Yeah.
And if he was uncomfortable at any point with me lewd tubing, we would have that discussion offline.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be doing it anymore, right?
Yeah.
So like for me, like people always, that's why people ask that question, does Zolan know that you're doing this? Like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, he's my manager. Like, he's literally sitting here front row with a bag of popcorn. What do you want? Like,
he's taking the photos.
Exactly. He's literally taking the photos sometimes. So that's how I'm like, so I'm a little bit confused. And like, I've had people say, well, is Zolan allowed to do the same things with people? And I'm like, well, firstly, how is that any of your business? And like, secondly, like if you wanted to, we would have the discussion, but like he's never expressed an interest in doing that. And people are like, well, I just want to make it fair. Well, hold on a second. Are you the police of my relationship? Who are you?
Yeah.
So that's the shit that just blows my mind. That there are people out there that are like that, right? But like, for me, I really enjoy lewd tubing because, like I said, I was always been a pretty sexually charged person, and when I do the adult streams, it allows me to be free and open and flirty and say all the dirty things that I want to say, and it's fun.
Yep.
It's very freeing, and I can understand how that's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. I realize that I'm, not everybody's cup of tea. Maybe I'm somebody's shot of vodka somewhere. I don't know. Like, I feel like
you're much stronger than a cup of tea.
Exactly, and that's okay. I understand that, and it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
But I understand that there's struggles probably as a say-so VTuber that I don't know about because I'm not a say-so VTuber.
Yeah.
I don't have those lived experiences. But I'm sure that there are struggles for them just as much as there are struggles, being a lewd tuber.
Yeah.
So, but I can speak to those ones, right?
Yeah. And even within that though, everyone would have a vastly different experience. Like there will be no experience in the community that is the same as yours, and yours won't be the same as someone else's.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess you've also done, I want to touch on this a little bit because I think it's quite funny. The convention appearances that you've had, you went with, first
I'm
was,
laughing.
God, I wonder if YouTube's gonna like just nuke this video if I say this. Like, so like you went like to AVN, you've also done Anime North now, and you've had the certain spins on the panels and the discussions that you've had over there. Do you think that there is an opening acceptance to this kind of content in the virtual space more broadly now than there was when you started, by the pure fact that you have this opportunity afforded to you to attend these conventions now?
I think so. Like, I am not like fully lewd all the time. I like to describe my streams as chaos and tits because it's a lot of fun and chaotic energy, but I could be lewd sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like, especially since I started, there's a lot more cons now saying, oh, hey, look, there's that really cool, not safe for work VTuber. And, that's a lot of fun to hang out with and be around. Why don't we just invite her to the con? So, like, I feel like there's a lot more acceptance of that now. And there's a lot more panels now anyways, because like I laugh because Anime North invited me and I was surprised, it was and I was very thankful that they did. and Cotton got invited too, who's another 18 plus, content creator, and I was very happy because I was going to get to meet her. And I had said, why don't we do a panel together, Cotton? Why don't we do an 18 plus panel? And Anime North said, heck yeah, you guys could do a panel together. So I was like, well, we can, talk about not safe for work content creation and stuff like that. It'll be fun. The coordinator was very, very open to it. And they had an 18 plus panel apparently the year before.
Okay.
And they were checking, IDs and stuff like that before you come into the panel. And when we were going to do the panel, they had, pulled us into the broadcast booth, me and Cotton, and there was a ton of people there. Like, it was wrapped around the hallways. Yep. Like, there was a lineup of people. It was massive, and we were like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of people for just us.
Yeah.
But so it was very humbling. And we were in the broadcast room, which was a small room, and Zolan was in there too, and Cotton's manager, and we're all in there, and we're having this discussion, and the coordinator said, so I'm gonna give you guys a thumbs up if things are going good, but if it starts to get a little bit too much, like a little bit, almost like a sex show or something like that, I'm gonna give you a thumbs down, and managers, you need to just cut it off. You need to cut it off right away. So I said, so theoretically, could I use my nude model then? Yeah. Because it's an 18 plus panel. Yeah. And the coordinator's like, I don't see why you could. He's like, you know what? How about this? The less I know, the better. So you just do what you feel like you need to do. And you both can stay in this broadcast room. We'll lock the door to make sure that nobody just tries to burst in or anything like that. Yeah. And, I'll get you towels if you need. I was like, I don't think it's going to go that far, but you goddamn right, I'm going to use the new model. We're here. So by the time this panel starts, it's packed in there. And they have the Anime North symbol up on the screen. And when they swapped over to me and Cotton's model, it was just a big old pair of naked snitties and snussy in everybody's face. So it was like this snitty jump scare that everybody in the audience was like, oh my God, she is naked.
It was an 18 plus panel though.
Yeah, I know, but I guess they didn't expect me to use the nude model.
Yeah, okay.
So it was just kind of like, bam, titties in your face. And they were like, oh, God. And they laughed because it was funny. But
yeah. But I guess this all kind of happens now because things have, this is just me looking from the outside. You would have a much better perspective from the inside. Is a lot of this content, especially in the VTubing space, is becoming progressively more destigmatized, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think, I'm lewd on main. I don't even care anymore. I know sponsors won't touch me with a 50-foot pole, but whatever. I think the more that you talk about sexuality and you have these sex ed type streams like me and Cotton have done together, and you're just talking about being, people genuinely have questions about this kind of stuff. And I think the more that you talk about it, the more educated that you can make people about sexuality and just being lewd and sexy in general, and how to get into not safe for work content creation or VA stuff. And I just pull the veil back. Here is how you make a woman orgasm. Just for those who don't know.
It's information is power, basically.
Exactly, right? Yeah. We can help people be more understanding of sexuality, help people figure out, their own sexuality and what they like, and maybe what their partner likes. I think that's a big win, right?
Yeah. I want to now flip it to the wholesome side of the lewd and wholesome that I said at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I want to talk about, obviously, you stream on Twitch and Blue Twitch, but you also, a lot of people know you for your charity work and the charity streams, the numerous charity streams that you've done now. First one for Survivorsorg, and then you've also done the one for the BCRF.
Yep.
What is the importance of charity work to you?
Giving back has always been something that's kind of been near and dear to me. Like for me, I always like to see people happy. And if I can help people in any way, shape, or form, I will gladly give you the shirt off my back if I can. Because I know what it's like, growing up not having a lot. And I see people struggling, and I see, like, there's so many causes that are near and dear to my heart and near and dear to the community that I've fostered. And if I can help people, like raise awareness or acceptance or use my platform for something good, I'm going to do it. Because I think that the world definitely needs more kindness. And if I have a platform to do it, I'll gladly do it.
Yeah.
It's no skin off my back to be able to do that kind of thing for people.
What the two charity streams that stick out in my mind were the Survivorsorg one and the BCRF ones that I mentioned at the top.
Oh yeah.
Those have very particular meanings to both of them now. Would you mind expanding on that?
So for survivors.org, I was actually in an abusive first marriage for a long time. And it's very difficult to talk about that kind of thing for a lot of people, I find. And I wanted to bring awareness to it because, one, it is difficult to talk about, but two, like, it can happen to anybody. Like, it's not just a woman's issue. I think, like, it can happen to, like, anybody in any kind of relationship. So I wanted people to be aware that, hey, yeah, this kind of thing still happens. Like, and it's common, but people don't talk about it because they're scared. And it's okay to be scared, and you can get out of those types of relationships. And you can thrive, and you can, do what you want to do. And for me, that was kind of a big deal to be able to provide resources and support for those types of people because, it happened to me. And I wanted to raise awareness to it and, like, have it be on my platform too. And, like, let people know that, yeah, my life hasn't exactly been all, like, roses and sunshine. But, hey, there's good things to come for you. So, like, that was kind of a big deal for me. And it was my very first charity stream too. So it was kind of a big deal. And I really, really enjoyed it. So, and that, when I started VTubing, that's kind of what I set out to do. I said I wanted to do, like, a charity stream at least once a year. At least, be able to do that and make it a big event. And, have fun with it, invite friends and stuff like that. And I've managed to do that so far. And with the BCRF stuff, at the time, they had reached out to me, and I was actually going through my own medical stuff, finding out if I had breast cancer. So it felt like the stars were kind of aligning in that way, and kind of a weird, faded way of, like, hey, you should do this thing. And I was like, you know what? I didn't know at the time that I had breast cancer. I was still going through the testing and everything like that. I'm like, well, I'm going to do it anyways, because I feel like, even if I don't have breast cancer, it's a scary thing. Like, it's a scare. So I wanted to do it. And then, it found out I did have breast cancer, and it was like, well, this is hitting a little bit closer to home. So it was one of those things that this is hitting close to home now. I can share my story and, let people know hey, you should probably check yourself. guy, gal, non-binary, pal, like go ahead and check yourself, because it can literally save your life. It did mine.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like if I have the platform to do this kind of thing, you goddamn right I'm gonna do it, because it can help so many people.
And you've been very publicly open about that, your journey with breast cancer to now, and obviously still ongoing. Has it been a bit of a cathartic experience to document it in this way and share that knowledge more broadly?
I think it has, and there have been very, very hard days. Even though I'm a pretty positive person, there have been hard days, and I think it would be disingenuous to say otherwise. It allows me to tell my community and be open and honest with them too, and be like, hey, there's some days where I don't feel good, or I might have to end stream because I'm not doing that great today, or I have to cancel stream because I have a random doctor's appointment that showed up. But I think for me, like, I don't consider cancer to be a death sentence, and a lot of people actually don't know a whole lot about like cancer. They just see what the media shows them, like in movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like they have these ideas of what it is, or like, oh no, she's got cancer, she's dead. No, it's like that's not how it is anymore.
Sometimes I can still hear her voice.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm right here. No, she's gone. She's gone. but yeah, I feel like, like talking about cancer and giving people a kind of a, like, here's behind the curtain, right? This is actually kind of what it goes. It's a long process. And I feel like giving people hope with their own medical stuff is important to me too. Like, I feel like moments like this, like moments like cancer or any kind of hard medical information you get about yourself, it could be a very painful moment in your life. And it changes your life. It changes your life in an instant, right? But you can take these moments and you have a choice with them. You can let them make you stronger. You can let them make you smarter, kinder. And that's kind of what cancer did for me in a way. Cancer can bring you, like, I think it was Michael Douglas or somebody that said that cancer could bring you to your knees or it can lift you to your feet, because it can show you how you want to live your life and what really matters to you. And that kind of is what it's done for me in a way. It's shown me that stuff that maybe that I cared about before, like petty shit that was like, oh, I really hate this, blah blah blah, I'm gonna get so worked up over this. Like, it's not worth it anymore. It's just not. It's allowed me to let go. It's allowed me to have a better understanding of what's important, and basically show and prove to myself that I'm strong. I'm stronger than I thought I was.
What does matter to you now?
I would say it's a hard question, but I would say my family has always mattered to me. It's always like nobody's promised tomorrow, right? So making today last and trying to find the silver linings in your everyday. Being kind to people, because there's that whole cheesy saying, you never really know when someone else is going through, and it's true, you really don't. So being nice to people, that's always been a thing for me, but I think it's especially important for me now that, like, I got cancer. It's like, okay, well, it's like, oh, that was such a shitty thing someone said to me. I could go back and I could say something really snarky, but at the end of the day, it's not worth it. It's really not. And I think, like, just being, I don't know, trying to be a good person, and, like, for me, creating safe spaces for people, right? Like, and to be who they are. That's what's important to me, because and finding their purpose and what they enjoy in life and helping, facilitate them to be able to meet people that are like them. That's important to me too. And to build a community that's going to be there for each other. That's important to me. I'd say that's probably the main things. Go out and be happy, and put more kindness out in the world, because like I said, there's a lot of shit out there. So you can choose to whether or not to add to the shit or to try to take the shit away. And for me, I'm trying to just add more positivity and light and have fun while I'm out here. And I have the privilege to be able to do this, because I know that a lot of people want to be able to do this for like a living, and I'm very, very lucky to be able to do this. And if I have a platform like this, I'm gonna do my damn best to be able to use it in a positive way and try to do my best to use it for good too.
I think that's a wonderful positive note to end this episode on, and we really did cover the whole rainbow of topics that I had jotted down, and I'm quite surprised we managed to string it together and mostly keep the time. But it's as Vex.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
I'm so proud.
Vex, it is always a pleasure getting to talk to you and hearing your stories and all the different facets of your life that is so very interesting. So thank you so much for coming on to Behind the Model and letting me tell that story.
Yeah, it's no problem. I just appreciate you asking, because I know I'm not the biggest VTuber or anything like that.
Shut it.
But like, no. Listen, okay, I understand. I am an anomaly in the VTuber space. I'm not exactly young. I have kids. I am a lewd-tuber, but also I am wholesome. So I am like a whole bunch of different things. So I appreciate you inviting me. I realize I'm different, but sometimes that's a good thing.
I think it is.
And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be able to do this with you. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm glad. That's what we have here. We have fun. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Vexoria the Sun Eater is the latest guest on my series Behind the Model, diving into the stars who make VTubing the creative medium we love. If you're interested in more of Vex's story, you can read the accompanying article linked in the description. I've also thrown links to my previous 2 interviews with her regarding both her Survivorsorg and BCRF charity streams. You can also find all of Vex's social media channels below. I'd really appreciate if you like this video to like and subscribe down below in the description. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments or hit me up on Twitter. I'm always sure to read it. Until next time, thank you.